there, we're going to add an Airtable integration. For that, we're going to one of our flows. Then we're clicking on Data Integrations, select an integration, and then we're selecting the Airtable. This is usually the first one, but if we cannot find it, we can also type it in the search. Now, to connect this Airtable, we can go to the setup instructions to see how to exactly do that. The first step is to go to Airtable and then create a token. As you can see, we already have a couple of tokens, but we're just going to create a new token. We're calling it token 2026, and in our case, we're just calling it video so that I can delete it later. It is very important that we're giving the permissions to this token to read data and also to read the schema of our data. In this case, I'm just going to add more because I want to sync my data later. We don't need these. If we made a mistake, then we can go back to our token at any time, because as you can see, it tells me I don't have any access. But in this case, I want to add access to all of my workspaces, but you can limit it also to specific tables. Now we're going to save these changes, and we're going back here and to parameters. So what I just created is my API key. I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to name this also Airtable 2026. In this case, we're going to start with an example, and I'm just going to copy from this Airtable the URL that I have, and I'm just going to paste it here. So we don't need everything after the question mark, so we can delete that. We also don't need everything that is related to the Airtable URL. And here we now can see we have 3 parts that are separated with a backslash, and this one here that starts with VIW is going to be here. The middle part that starts with TBL is going to be here and stands for table. And here, very important, I also have to remove the backslash. Okay. So this is then how it looks like. It's really just the URL of Airtable that gives us the information about base ID, table ID, and view ID. So the most complicated part was really generating this API key or token. It has been recently renamed, and then we just click on create. And this is where we are. If we want to change anything, we are not allowed to see the API key at any point in time, but obviously you can change it and then update the connector. But since we just configured it, we don't really need to do that. And now we're going to data synchronization. And here we can see our import was successful. We can now create a sync job that repeatedly syncs our data with Airtable. In this case, for example, every 3 hours, but we can also create something custom. And for example, a site that we want to sync it every minute. We're not going to do this now, but if you would want to, then you would just confirm and then it will be created. Now, if we want to see that the data really was created, we can go back to our data management section, click on the data, and then we will see the table.